From Anshe Sfard Bethel Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parashat Teruma, Prayer Journey. If you look at the Mishkan and the tabernacle, the structure of what eventually became the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, you might say, ho-hum. The architecture looks like this, looks like that. How does it affect me today? Of course, it says in Yechezkel that we should know all the patterns and all the structures and all the measurements of the Beit HaMikdash because one day, God willing, we'll be there again. But what about right now? Before the Beit HaMikdash is reconstructed, how does it affect us? Part of it is to enable us to have what we can call a prayer journey. When we say our prayers, we're not just saying this prayer, that prayer, and the next one, but rather, we're also on various journeys. The first journey is one of architecture and placement in the Beit HaMikdash. We should picture ourselves that in the early morning service with the blessings and the karbanot, the sacrifices. It says in the Siddur Hagra, in the Siddur known as the Siddur Hagra, the Vilna Gaon, it says there that in the first section of the davening, we are in the women's section. We're in that general admission section. We're in the outer courtyard of the temple because we're just warming up. We haven't gotten there yet. Then as we turn to the Psalms, we are in the Ulam. We're in that section between the altar and heading toward the section known as the Heichal, where the menorah is. Then we head to the section known as the Heichal, where the menorah, the Shulchan, and the golden altar, the incense altar are. During the Shema and its blessings, we're moving on. We're getting closer to the Holy of Holies. We are in the Heichal. We're in the section with the menorah, Shulchan, and the golden altar. As we reach the Shemon Esrei, we're finally ready to enter the Holy of Holies. Because after all, what is Shemon Esrei? What is Amidah? What is the silent devotion? What is the ultimate Jewish prayer? Where Prussian imagines himself standing before God, his throne, and God's throne is parallel to the Holy of Holies. Person imagines himself encountering God in the Holy of Holies. Furthermore, the mystics say, and you can see this also in the Siddur of Yaakov Emden, that in the different parts of davening, we're in the different worlds. There are 4 sections of the prayer, as there are 4 sections in the temple or the tabernacle, so too there are 4 worlds in general. They're not actual physical planes, but they're planes of existence. The lowest world is the world of action. Then we move on to the world of Yetzirah, of creation, Bria, Atzilut. These are expressions that say that the most physical world, the world of action, things are expression, an actual physicality. Then there's the angels' world, the second level. Then there's the realm of thought, the intellectual realm, and then there's the realm that's very close to God itself, God Himself. So in the early morning service, we're sort of concrete. We're still at the concrete level when we say the blessings for waking up in the morning. Then we turn to the various psalms, and we say we're now going up to the next level, the level of the angels. And when we're saying the Shema and its various blessings, we're in the intellectual realm, the realm both of the fear of God, the love of God, the fear of the awesomeness of God in creating the world, creating light, creating darkness, and the love of God, how He gave us the Torah. And then, when we turn to the Shemon Esrei, we're in the world closest to God, the world of pure emanation, as they say, the world of Atzilut. So we're going in a heavenly journey. We're going laterally through the sanctuary. We're going vertically as we head up into the heavenly spheres. And then, Rabbi say it also corresponds to the letters of the Tetragrammaton. After all, 4 is the 4 letters of God's holy name, the ineffable name, Yud, K, Vav, K. So we go through the Yud, and then the Hey, and then the Vav, and then another Hey. And we're actually meditating on the name of God as we go through from one section to the other. There they point out in the Siddur Hagra that in these 4 sections, each one, interestingly, has their own 18 blessings. Perhaps parallel to the fact that There is the 10 sfirot, the 10 reflections of God in one world, the 10 reflections in the next world, 10 reflections in the next. Each world has its own reflections. So too the number 18. There are 18 chai blessings. There's 18 mentions of God in each level as well. In the early morning blessings, you count them up, there are 18 blessings in the morning. There are, in the Psukei de Zimra, there are 18 names of God in the Yehi Chavod prayer, right after the Psalm of Thanksgiving, the Mizmor LeTodah, there are 18 mentions of God's name. Also, the Az Yashir has approximately 18 mentions of God's name, and the whole concept of giving thanks to God is found in Havul Hashem B'nai Elim, that psalm that we say on Friday night before Lecha Dodi, or as we put away the Torah on Shabbat. And in that psalm, there are 18 mentions of God's name, and that's why the Talmud says we have 18 blessings in the Shemona Esrei. Well, of course, Shemona Esrei has 18. What about the Shema? The Shema also has 18 mentions of the God's name. So we're going into different realms, but in each realm, it's the same 18. We just take them to a different level. When we finally do approach God in the Amidah, it's like a war, a battle against the other side, the Sitra Achra, against the evil forces, the Yetzer Hara, those forces that would try to distract us. But hopefully through our songs, we can elevate ourselves, and just as the songs go up, so too we go up through the various worlds. So we turn to our Amidah every day, as we turn to our prayers each day and every Shabbat, and we ask ourselves, where's the spirituality in these prayers? And the answer is that if you're just saying the words, you're only at the first level. The next level is to go beyond the words, to take yourself on a spiritual journey, to recognize that in each level of prayer, here I go, I'm going closer and closer to God. I'm imagining the sanctuary in Jerusalem. I'm imagining transmigrating myself from one world to the next. The sages of old did it. The Rabbi Akiva and friends, they actually went off into these different worlds. We too, in our own simple level, can just imagine these stages, go from one level to the next. Yelchu michayil el chayil, Re'eh Elokim v'Tzion. You go from strength to strength, from the blessings, the Psalms, the Shema, and to the Amidah, from the various worlds, this earthly world, all the way up to the closest you can get to heaven, from the outer courtyard to the inner courtyard, to the Holy of Holies. This is what prayer is all about. We imagine it, and then we can try to conceive of it. If you don't know the Parsha this week, then we can't make that migration. That's the holy sanctuary. That's our special place. Those who meditate like to think of a special place. That's our special place, our Jewish special place. That cozy place is that Beit HaMikdash. When you're in time of trouble, says David in the Psalms, my soul longs for that place. If I can imagine it, if I can envision it, the more concrete I can get, the more details I know about it, then the more I can envision taking myself on this migration, this journey, this holy journey, a journey of prayer. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshe Sfard Bethel Emeth congregation here in Memphis, Tennessee for our discussion of the Parsha and of prayer. Join us each week for our discussion of the prayers and the holidays. You can go on our various videos to see discussions of Purim and other holidays. Thanks to Jason Lefkowitz for making today's production possible. And thanks to Jeff Liebman, who's sponsoring these videos this season. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit ASBEE.org.